Every culture has its own unique way of celebrating the holidays, and today we are being treated to a traditional Italian holiday dish from Sal Circosta, the owner of Sal's Bakery and Cafe in Springfield. Sal, always nice to have you here.
Nice to be here, Ashley. Thank you.
So this is a traditional Italian holiday dish. You're Italian, so this must be something.
Sure. You know, Christmas is really celebrated Christmas Eve for Italians. It's called the Vigile, and usually it's 7 courses of fish meals, because we don't eat meat on Christmas Eve. So I didn't want to bring a bunch of fish in here because it's too expensive and I don't want to smell it this morning. But so I'm going to make what's called uova purgatorio, which means eggs in purgatory, which is an interesting dish to say the least.
It's very interesting.
So first thing we'll do, let me grab that pasta right there.
Okay. What kind of pasta?
This is capellini or angel hair.
Okay.
Figure if we're going to purgatory, use angel hair. So we'll throw that in because that's going to take about 3-4 minutes for angel hair to get cooked because it's such a thin pasta. I
always find it very tricky to cook angel hair because I either overcook it because it does cook so fast. So you would say the magic number is 3 to 4 minutes? That's
yeah, it's supposed to be al dente. 3-4 minutes it'll be al dente. If it's fresh pasta, it'll cook a lot less. I think about a minute or so for capellini.
And since it's so thin, do you, once you put it in the colander and strain it, do you put some oil in there to keep it from sticking together?
No.
Okay.
Never put oil in pasta unless it's an oil-based sauce. Because what will happen is the sauce won't adhere to the pasta. It'll wash right off. So you have the sauce at the bottom of the dish and the pasta on the top.
I'm learning parenting advice. I'm getting great cooking advice. Okay, now I know.
So
I don't want to tell you that's what I usually do, but
no,
okay,
I didn't hear that.
So you put the angel hair in the pot. Do you put some salt in there first?
Absolutely. Always put. It should taste like ocean water. You should put a lot of salt. People don't put enough salt.
Really salty.
Absolutely. So then you just take a red sauce, a marinara, whatever, homemade sauce is very easy to make. If you want to use a jarred sauce, you use a jarred sauce, whatever you want. What I would do is let it simmer nice. It's purgatory, so it has to be a little hot,
Yes.
So you put a little bit of hot pepper. This is optional. If you don't want to put hot pepper, you don't have to put hot pepper.
I like it hot. That's good. Now, so how long do you simmer it for, would you say, to get a good
Once
flavor?
The sauce is cooked, if it's a jar sauce, you just throw it in, cook it up real quick, 5 minutes or so. If it's a homemade sauce, obviously that has to cook for a few hours. So what you do then is just crack some eggs in it, because it's going to be a meatless dish, so you need to have some substance in it. So you just crack a few eggs right in it.
I always get nervous when you're cooking with eggs and heat, and is there any tip? You don't have to worry about it? No,
I wouldn't worry too much about it.
Like it's not going to you're not going to have scrambled eggs in your spaghetti sauce?
No, because what you're doing is sort of making it sunny side up by doing this. Because what you're going to do, crack each of them in, then you're going to put the cover back on, let it simmer. The whites will cook white, and then you leave the yolk kind of
interesting. I wonder where it gets the name eggs in purgatory.
Well,
uova in purgatorio.
Very good pronunciation.
Well,
Seth's not here, so I can.
I've been practicing.
So yeah, pretty much. Well, Catholic theology teaches about purgatory. That's this place of fire that's going to cleanse sins before one enters heaven. So Italians being mostly Catholic, they kind of always use a play on words. So the eggs in purgatory refers to the sauce being red, and then the white and the yellow kind of make an orange, kind of looks like fire. So
that is so interesting.
Yeah, and if you screw it up, it'll be eggs and looks like hell. So you can't have that. So you have to make sure you kind of keep it nice.
You got to make sure you do it right.
Exactly.
But I think it's going to taste really good.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
It sounds like it's good. Now, so once the angel hair, you're cooking that up.
It's pretty much almost all set right now, actually.
I'm curious to see how that pasta sauce is going to look with those eggs in it.
Should look pretty good. Get it on a little higher.
Now, in the Italian culture, what are some traditions that you have? I mean, besides your 7-course fish meal.
Sure,
on Christmas Eve.
Christmas was one of the only times that we really ate dessert at our house. Easter and Christmas. Dessert's not really, usually after dinner you have nuts and fruits, things like that. A little digestivo, maybe a little anisette or something. Not as a kid, of course, don't. So at Christmas and Easter, all the sweets would come out. So we'd have what we're going to make later on today, the Struffoli or pignolata, the fried honey balls. Then you have the cannolis, the cream puffs, things like that. Those are usually only on Christmas and Easter time. So the religious holidays kind of bring out a lot to to the plate in a sense.
So it wasn't really the presents you looked forward to, it was the dessert.
Yeah, no,
right?
it's funny.
That was really the present for
That's
you.
it. My Nonna said when she was in Italy, she grew up in Italy, she said she would get for Christmas gift, she'd get an orange and maybe a few chestnuts. Then she realized there was an orange tree and a chestnut tree right behind the house, so I guess it was kind of not that good of a...
Not that special,
No,
right?
it wasn't.
She could have went out and got it herself. Oh,
Exactly.
well, it's the thought that counts.
That's
now.
it, that's
Isn't
it.
that right?
So
okay.
the pasta's pretty much done, so you just, kind of just put it right on a plate. Usually I like to mix up the sauce and the pasta together. But for this dish, I think visually it's nicer just to do it kind of like this.
You want to see the eggs in purgatorio,
Exactly,
right?
exactly. So.
Or I mixed my Italian
That's
and
good.
English.
That's fine. Both come from the Latin, so it doesn't matter. So then we'll put that down. See how these guys are doing in here. There you go.
Oh, wow.
Shut that off.
So now you can't really see the yolk as much.
No. So then what we do, nice.
It smells delicious.
Like that.
Oh, okay.
And then crack the eggs. Crack the yolk. Kind of like that. And you see, kind of looks like a little fiery.
It does.
And throw a little bit of Parmigiano Reggiano on top. And there it is. This is a typical, this could be breakfast, this could be lunch, this could be dinner for Italians. This is
or if you're not, I'm not Italian, but I think I'll have it for breakfast.
Yeah, it's a great dish, and what's nice is after you kind of mix it up and you get the yolk kind of between the pasta, it's really good.
Well, thanks for sharing this
No
recipe
problem, my
with
pleasure.
us, Sal, and we'll be back to make honey balls a little
Sounds
later in
great.
the show. So stay tuned because a little later, Sal will show us how to make a traditional Italian dessert. Still ahead. Well, we've already made a delicious traditional Italian holiday dinner recipe, and now dessert.
Absolutely.
It's the holidays, so it's time for dessert, right?
Sounds great.
Sal Circosta is the owner of Sal's Bakery and Cafe in Springfield, ready to whip up something sweet. Sal, we're back in the kitchen. We're making these honey balls.
Yes, they're called,
which looks so good.
In proper Italian, they're called Struffoli.
Struffoli.
But where we're from in Italy, in Calabria, the dialect calls them pignolata. I don't know what it means, but I guess
sounds cool.
Sounds
I think
cool,
we need
exactly.
to get these away from me,
yeah.
because I think I really do want to dig in. I have a sweet tooth.
That's good.
So, all right, Sal. So what have you been working on?
Pretty much, you make a dough. It's a basic cookie dough. It's 6 eggs, 3 cups of flour, a couple teaspoons of oil, and half a teaspoon of baking powder. Okay. Then you just, roll it out. What I do is I just cut them into little chunks like this, and then you just roll them out into kind of like a rope. And then with a floured knife, just cut just like that.
Now, once you've made the dough, and you obviously had to knead it.
Yeah, you knead it for a few minutes.
Cool it at all, or
no? You can work with it right away.
Oh.
Some people like it to rest for a little bit. It's a little softer to work with, but that's pretty much all you do. And then if you want, you can roll them into, actual balls, but to me it doesn't matter. They turn out pretty much the same.
They do?
So I wouldn't worry too much about it.
Probably puff in the oil,
Exactly.
right?
So
okay. So
what you got to do then is about 350, 375 degree oil. You just drop them right in.
Is it a certain kind of oil that you're using, Sal?
I'm using whatever was on sale. I think it was vegetable oil.
It's so funny. That sounds good to me.
Yeah, vegetable oil's fine.
Oil?
In Italy they might use olive oil, but the problem, in my opinion, with olive oil is it doesn't cook at the right temperature. So it has a very low temperature, so it's not going to cook in the middle. So I would use a vegetable oil, corn oil, or a canola, peanut oil, any of those.
Okay.
So you put them in there. Don't put too many in. If you put too many in, they're going to all stick together, and that's not going to be any good.
So it looks like this is just a regular pan, so you don't really need one of those deep fry.
You don't need, at the bakery I have a deep fryer, so I fry them in. I can do, times 10 of this at once, which is good for business. But at home, my grandmother used to just use a pan just like this, put the oil in it, and pan fry them. So then, while you're doing that, usually what you would do is do a bunch of them. You can make nice little Christmas gifts, wrap them up in a little cellophane, and give them out to your friends, whatever. They last for weeks, because it's covered in honey, which is a preservative. So
wow.
You can do, we had a big bowl at home. We used to fill them up, and then we used to, afterwards, put the honey. The honey is, all you do is get about a pound of honey, put it in a saucepan, and boil it. Once it's boiled, honey changes into more of a liquid. So you see now it's not
thin.
Exactly. So it's a lot easier to work with. So once these guys are done, you just take them out And
how do you know when they're done? When they're golden brown?
golden brown, yeah. I mean, you know, inside, if you want, you could take one out, cut it, make sure the middle's cooked. So, but for TV time, we're not going to worry too much about that.
Okay.
So, you guys are eating it afterwards
yeah,
anyways, I don't care.
I mean, I think it's going to taste good no matter
So,
what. So
pretty much, once they're golden brown, you take them out. If you want to put them on a newspaper or some brown paper, like a brown paper bag, just to strain some of the oil. That's always a smart move.
I like the idea of giving it as a gift, though, because it makes such a pretty gift.
It does. You can make, in Italy, they make wreath shapes out of them on a plate. Oh. You can do a Christmas tree. I'm boring, so I just do a bowl of them.
Oh, no, I think, I think that's beautiful, Sal.
And then the other cool thing is while you're mixing the dough, you can put some orange zest, lemon zest in there. If you want to put a little liqueur in there, you can put a little amaretto or something to add a little crushed up almonds, whatever you want. It's a basic dough, so you can do whatever you want with it.
And it really does make a ball shape, even though
it does, yeah. They were squares, and they made a sphere out of it. So then you take the honey and just pour it over. I don't put all the honey in at once, because what's going to end up happening is I'm going to drizzle a little bit over it afterwards. And just mix them together.
And that's about a pound of honey, you'd say? Just you boil it all down? A
pound of honey is usually good enough for this one recipe of dough. Then you just take them and put them on a plate, a bowl, whatever you want. You can make different shapes out of them because eventually they're going to all stick together, obviously, because of the honey.
Does this bring you back to your childhood right now?
It does, yeah, but unfortunately, I think it was child labor back in those days. Then you could
put you to work.
Exactly.
Hey, look how good you are now.
Then you could put almonds, walnuts, whatever you want, hazelnuts if you want, whatever you know, just to kind of make it look pretty. Then put some Marciano cherries on top, like that. You know, obviously, if you're going to do it, you can do it a little bit more meticulously.
Like this presentation over here.
And then you take some of these sprinkles.
Oh, that's what makes it fun.
And then, yeah. You could do different colors if you want, you know, green and red for Christmas. And that's pretty much it.
That's very simple.
And then afterwards, if you want, you could drizzle a little more honey on top to make it all stick together. If you're going to wrap it up, I would do that just to make sure that it gets that extra stickiness.
A nice glaze. Now, do you have to, these are warm right now. Do you serve them, you can eat them cold?
Usually you'd eat them cold. I mean, they're nice hot too, but usually they'd be at room temperature.
Great. Well, I cannot wait to try one. I'll wait, though. So
sure. That's great. That's
Thanks so much,
No
Sal.
problem, Ashley.
Happy
Thank
holidays.
you. Thank you.
Always so nice to have
Merry
you
Christmas.
here.
Thank you.